So the fiscal and monetary policy have been kind of the pillars of stability of the economy, and I think that it has served the country well. When we see the growth being very stable at 5%, and, a little bit above, it's really because it has a solid foundation of very prudent macroeconomic policies, both on the monetary and on the fiscal side. In 2019, I think that one of the good things that happened is that because the global economy was a bit weaker, the flip side of that was that the central banks that were tightening monetary policy, they relaxed it, so there was a lot more capital inflows, and that allowed BI to reduce the policy rates. And while at the same time you see that the currency has performed quite well. And that's because it was an environment of very kind of ample external liquidity. So now for 2020, I see less room for that because this year was exceptionally good in terms of capital flows. I think that next year we'll still have kind of relatively relaxed monetary policy, but the change will not be as large as it was this year, right? Because 2019 was a change from tightening to more relaxation. I think that will remain kind of in a relatively relaxed monetary policy in 2020, but the difference is not going to be very large. So while we still expect positive capital inflows, it's not going to be to the extent of 2019. So maybe the opportunities for BI to cut may be reduced in 2020. But on the positive side, we have the time that it takes for the monetary policy to actually reach the real economy, what we call the transmission mechanism of the BI monetary policy. Which means that the cuts this year may not have already been felt, but will actually be felt next year. So the monetary policy, I think, is in a good position to support, especially if we have this return of investment, right? So the political uncertainty domestically in Indonesia is less, maybe the global economy is getting slightly better, and then you have lower interest rates finding their way to the end user. So I think that all of these will contribute to support a recovery in the investments, the fixed investment in Indonesia next year.
Do you see the government's policy is very strong enough to boost the investment for the next year?
I think that in terms of the monetary and fiscal policy, I think that the settings are quite adequate because what they do is to provide a stable foundation. I think that what we need now is the microeconomic policies, the structural reforms to open the economy that actually will make Indonesia, will change the game to bring in more foreign investments into Indonesia. So we're all very eager to see the omnibus law. Hopefully some of the reforms that are contained there will be will bring the credibility that Indonesia is open for business and it really wants to attract some of the foreign investments.
Okay.